1 2 1 2. Let's make sure that we got the microphones going here. Let me get the replay going here. I'm going to put on the thumbnail for the live stream, and then we're going to get it on and cracking and talk about all the things that we had witnessed. There was no unity, so what was the alternative? Why not put a bunch of former UFC fighters into a boxing match, right? And I thought to myself, you know what? Not only is this a brilliant idea, but this is also an idea where many of these fighters can go back to, let's say, when they are at the tail of their career, or whenever they need to do something a little bit different than what it is that they had been doing MMA. Because look, here's the thing about MMA that you got to understand, right? Obviously, this is not in reference to Dillion Danis because he's actually the one that fought MMA tonight. You see, when he got in there in the boxing match against Logan Paul, what we got out of that was a person that's not really a boxer, and then we had a person who is an influencer in the likes of Logan, in which the only mutual sport that they both can really fight at was boxing. And because of the fact that, well, Logan was the A side, then they really had no choice but to, do best for what was best for Logan, which obviously is for him to be put in that particular situation. So, all right, we're going to wait for a few people to get right in here, and then we're going to have the thumbnail going. All right, there's the thumbnail. There it is. We got the thumbnail right in there. And now, boom, there we go. So 2 minutes into the live stream, we got the thumbnail going. And yeah, man, so let me give you a little bit of some preface to where we're going to take this particular episode, right? Obviously, I wanted to start out the episode with being in my backyard with the palm tree behind me, obviously a palm tree that I own. So, you know, that's in my backyard. I figured why not use it as some kind of prop. And of course, it is 7:55 right now in the West Coast, right? So there's still relative sun going on right now. As a matter of fact, let me show you the sundown that we have going on right now. So this is basically the sundown that we have going on in California right now. So yes, so we're going to talk about all things Misfits boxing as some sort to what obviously is a UFC fight week. So last week UFC Shanghai. A week before that was UFC 319 comes at Chimaev in Chicago. And then we're not going to have a UFC until UFC 320, right? Which I believe is going to be a Las Vegas card. And then there's UFC 321 and then UFC 322, which was recently announced not too long ago. In fact, this week by Dana White, you had um, Jack Della Maddalena taking on Islam. Obviously, that is now confirmed. You have Leon Edwards taking on Pratis. Then you have, I believe, for what is a co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko taking on Weili Zhang. So a lot to look forward to. Daniel Hamid. What time is it in America, brother? It is 7:55 right now. It is literally about to be Maghrib at this time right now. Take a look at this, Daniel Hamid. So this is what we have going on right now. So let me know what time is it where you're at in England right now, Daniel. I would assume maybe the time. So let's see, what time is London right now? You're definitely way past your bedtime right now, I would assume. So oh my goodness. Okay, so it is 3:56 a.m. in London right now. So shout out to you, my man. By the way, did you catch the Misfits card? What did you think about it? Right? What do you think about MMA fighters transitioning into boxing, especially with the likes of Darren Till? Obviously, there's some interesting dynamics that we could try to understand from that. For example, one of the most uh, benefits that you can get out of transforming from MMA into boxing is not having the type of joint pains that you would often feel when, let's say, you are grappling all the time, right? Or when you're getting kicked in the leg. Boxing, I got to be honest with you, I think it's far more dangerous than that of MMA, than that of BKFC boxing, a lot more dangerous than kickboxing. And let me tell you why. Because in kickboxing, there are weapons that you can use to mitigate a lot of range, right? If you often notice in Muay Thai fights, there are a lot of front kicks, right? A lot of teep kicks, as they call them in Thai, right? And that creates a lot of distance. So there's a lot of distance involved where you can literally almost fight Muay Thai every week. And in fact, you see Muay Thai fighters do it all the time. But in boxing, you are taking a significant amount of brain trauma to which I don't think you really face as much in MMA. Of course, knockout happens. Of course, people get knocked out. People get slept. This is a reality of life in boxing. This is a reality of life in MMA. But it is a lot more prevalent when you are getting knocked down over and over again, and then you're told to stand right back up, and the only line of defense you have is to use your hands. Now, if the other guy hands and you, then you're just you're just asked out in that situation. Danger says, good to see El-Kheer win something again. So this is what's beautiful about this event, right? I'm going to highlight that comment right there, Danger. And the reason why I'm going to highlight that comment is because it really reflects upon what we had noticed about the card, right? What we noticed about the card was MMA nostalgia, MMA royalty, with the likes of Darren Till, the likes of Luke Rockhold. Now, let me tell you what's really significant about that, right? Misfits. They call it misfits. So it means that these guys don't fit in whatever type of venue they are at, or whatever type of organization or promotion they are a part of, right? Darren Till was never the guy that played the game for the UFC, although he was very marketable, so it sort of worked. Luke Rockhold was the guy that always played the game. He was a former champion, but got to the position where Darren Till never got to. In other words, you've seen Darren Till fall short against a Tyron Woodley 170-pound fight, if you remember back in UFC 228, I believe it was. So UFC 228 was in Dallas, and that was the event just right before UFC 229, and obviously Darren Till had lost that one, and that was his only opportunity. But lo and behold, here we are. We're in a boxing setting. He's taken on a former champion, and now he has a chance to obviously go out there and redeem himself in a certain capacity. Now, Tony Ferguson, going back to my man's comment here with Danger, saying it's good to see El-Kheer win something again. This is exactly what we got out of this situation, a good nostalgia feeling in what we know El-Kheer and Tony Ferguson to be. Because what we know Tony Ferguson to be is a guy that cut weight twice in the same month during the pandemic, only to find out he's not fighting Khabib. He ends up fighting Justin Gaethje, which I think was a lot more detrimental to his health, because he not only dehydrated his body and his brain, and in turn taking the shots that he did against Justin Gaethje. By the way, a precision of shots that he took from Justin Gaethje, I think only damaged him further. Now, don't get it twisted. As great of a win as this was to see out of El-Kheer, understand that he still took damage along the way. Now, during this fight, Salt Papi showed exactly why he is or was the favorite going into this fight. It showed exactly why. The reason why he was the favorite was predicated on the fact that, hey, you know what? This guy is just like Jake Paul, right? Has all the time in the world, spends all of his time training to become a boxer. Meanwhile, you have this MMA fighter who is severely damaged. But you know what? He is severely tough, and it shows you the type of level of competition that El-Kheer was facing. So it was a perfect matchup for him. This fight with Darren Till and Rockhold, it was a perfect matchup for him. This fight with Spencer versus Dillion Danis in an MMA fight inside a boxing ring, it was a perfect fight for Dillion Danis. Dillion Danis is undefeated in MMA. Let's not forget about that, okay? That's the one thing you have to remember about this. Above all else, he is undefeated in MMA. Now, why is that important to bring out? Because he went into the boxing ring with Logan Paul, if you remember, a couple of years ago, in the same Misfits card, right? It showed Logan Paul was a better boxer. That's fine, but he's not the better MMA fighter, nor is he the better fighter overall. I think it shows that Dillion Danis could have done whatever he wanted to Logan in the MMA world, right? And it was only then that Dillion Danis is a beginner, really, in the striking realm, right? So, guys, as this gets darker, I want you to know, as this gets darker, I'm going to shut the screen off, and I'm going to go into audio. I just wanted to sort of start off this stream with me being in my backyard and having my palm tree behind me. But yeah, as this gets dark, yeah, I'm definitely going to shut off the stream. So, okay, let's read the comments right here as I shut off the. Okay, so Marty Miller, shout outs to you, my man. Shout outs to Marty Miller on that one. Just wanted to put up the by the way, let's watch the sun go down together real quick. Okay, how about this, right? The beautiful California sun going down as we by the way, before I shut off the video, I'm only going to go into audio form, but we're going to just be watching this in the meantime. Okay, so Marty Miller, shout out to you. Great views, by the way. Thank you, my man. Boars MMA says Luke Rockhold got destroyed. He did. Boars MMA says if Logan fought Danis in MMA, he would have gotten submitted for sure. Because Logan Paul is not an experienced MMA fighter, so it is only right that that would happen. Boars MMA says Dillion Danis is very good in jiu-jitsu. Boars MMA says, great to see Tony win in an upset. Yeah, man. And you know what? It gives us this total feeling of nostalgia, right? Marty Miller says, totally dominated. 10-8 in the first round. You're talking about Darren Till, right? So, Marty, were we not correct about our assessment, right? You have an American MMA fighter, and then you have a British MMA fighter in a boxing setting. Who are we going to pick? And I told you exactly what it is, right? There's just a certain level of boxing that they have in England, and I think that they learn boxing before they learn anything else, right? So there we go, man. That is the overall victory of Darren Till tonight. And it was nostalgic, right? It was going back to like 2018 again, where all of these guys were in their prime, right? Darren Till was in his prime during that time. That's when he got the title shot. Tony Ferguson at the time was the most feared guy in MMA, the boogeyman and what have you. But make no mistake, this was against an influencer, okay? Salt Papi is great. Salt Papi is good for who he is. Salt Papi is great for knocking out amateur MMA fighters, but those are amateur MMA fighters. Now try doing that to Tony Ferguson, right? So Tony Ferguson, I think, showed that he still had a little bit left in him. And I think boxing, this is why I say that boxing is really a good place for a lot of MMA fighters to try and prove themselves later on in their career when they don't want to deal with the injuries that jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and Muay Thai can physically give you. So, let's see. So, yeah, Dillion Danis, right? I think no more boxing for Dillion Danis. That's what I say about that, right? No more boxing for Dillion Danis. This is where he should have been concentrating the whole time. He just needed the right opponent. Hey, guess what? He's got an influencer boxer right here against Spencer. Okay, by the way, a lot of Americans don't know this guy. I barely know this guy. I just learned about this guy during the week. UFC should give Danis a shot. Correct, correct. Look, think about this, right? It's been a long time coming for them to give Dillion Danis a title shot. Now, I understand back then he was in contract with Bellator, okay? That's completely understandable. So during his contract days with Bellator, okay, fine. You could say that, hey, you know what? Dillion Danis, can't fight in the UFC, but they should have tried to at least make a promotion, this and that, a cross-promotional thing, because here's what I'm trying to get at, right? During that time when he got into it with Khabib in the post Conor McGregor fight, that was a lot of heat. You guys understand? Like that was a lot of heat that he garnered during that time. They should have absolutely uh, taken that opportunity straight away. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know why they decided not to take that opportunity, but it would have been really hot back then. Same thing with Zubaira versus Artem Lobov, right? Obviously, Zubaira and Artem Lobov are going to fight each other at the PFL, but great, right? So I'll tell you what's great about this too. What Misfits are doing, what I think is really great about this, they're opening up an MMA division, right? Which is great. It's going to be in a boxing ring. Are they going to continue to have fights in a boxing ring? I think they are. As long as they are fighting boxing rules as well, or having boxing cards. I mean, they maybe mix it up. How about they have a bare knuckle boxing fight along with an MMA fight and a boxing card all in the same ring? And by the way, this is something that we're used to in Sacramento going back in the mid 2000s, early 2010s. We had a lot of Muay Thai and MMA hybrid events going on here during the WEC days when the WEC was in the forefront of Sacramento MMA. Marty Miller says people would want to watch him fight whether he deserves it or not. He'd be a draw. Correct. Correct, man. Listen, the type of heat that Dillion Danis has going on, right? I think you would be crazy to not give him an opportunity whatsoever, right? Like he absolutely deserves this opportunity. And one of the reasons why he deserves this opportunity is, let's not mix any bones about it. The boy knows how to draw heat. And if you know how to draw heat, sometimes that's all that you really need in order for you to, yeah, in order for you to get signed to the UFC. Look, James Toney, when they got James Toney to fight Randy Couture back in the days, right? Did we really need to know whether James Toney can wrestle or James Toney can kick? All we knew is that James Toney was a world champion boxer, and we decided, hey, you know what? Let's bring him into the UFC and see how he does. Well, in a very bad stylistic matchup, which was going to be Randy Couture, and reason being is because Randy Couture has wrestling and he can control that guy within the first instance of the first minute of the round, and that's exactly what he did. So, so yeah, you're right. He definitely would be a draw on that one. All right, guys. So it is getting dark in here, so we're gonna go right into the dark stream. We're gonna darken the stream up right now. I hope you guys had enjoyed the view that we had going on right now. So yeah, we're just doing a little bit of a recap right now to the Misfits card. Right now, look, I'm sorry if I'm not going to go through the other people that are in the card. I don't know who they are or what they got going on, but this is what I know that they've been doing with the Misfits card, right? So they would add people that are very well known, obviously the likes of Dillion Danis, somebody who's very well known, the likes of uh, Darren Till, who's very well known, but then prior to that, it wasn't so much MMA fighters that they had in there. Obviously, it was mostly influencers, and usually influencers that I had no idea about. Guys that would have cooking channels, guys that would have hunting channels, guys that would have all types of channels that I wouldn't even know about, and then they had them square off in in that particular card. Okay, and this is all planned by KSI. Now, you want to know where I first heard about KSI was when he first boxed Logan Paul. Okay, and it was, by the way, guess what? It was in Manchester. I'll tell you what's really significant about that, right? Boars MMA says, I watched the card with Danis. I watched the card with Danis, Tony, and Till, and Chase Demore. Yeah, you know what? Other than those guys, right? I think Chase Demore is the only well-known guy in that whole entire equation. I believe, right? I think he is the only well-known guy in that whole entire equation, from my understanding. But other than that, yeah, the rest of these, this was an MMA night. This was a night for all MMA fighters and this and that. The Joey Essex fight was like an old computer game. Both fighters got silly tired. Yeah, I watched that fight too. And this and that. Please forgive me if I don't know exactly who some of these guys are, right? Yeah, you're going to have to forgive me for that, obviously. But we only got to know who these guys were because of that. But hey, you know what? Listen, that is what having a promotion is all about. Okay, that is what having a promotion is all about. Because when you have a promotion, okay, you put on a headline card. Once you put on a headline card, you put on a card. with other people, once you put on a headline card, you put on a card with other people in it as well. And whoever those people are that are in the undercard, usually those are the people that are going to be the future of your organization. Okay, like for example, take the Conor McGregor and the Floyd Mayweather fight. Do you guys remember who was in the undercard of those fights? I could name probably a couple of people that were in the undercards. I know Nathan Cleverly was in that card. I believe he had faced Adonis Stevenson. Yeah, no, let me know. He says God forgives, but I don't. Fresh Melon Juice says, okay, well, in what context do you mean that exactly, Fresh Melon Juice, when you say that God forgives, but you don't? Um, wouldn't you say that, Allah loves those that are forgiving? Um, if you don't think so, let me know. Let me know if you think otherwise. But yeah, I would think that, yeah, that is a reality of that right there, right? God would love everybody who forgives. But then again, I thought you were Christian. I don't want to make this particular segment about religion, but it is often, mistaken that many people say that Islam, is not a very forgiving religion or this and that. And obviously, I beg to differ on that note. But okay, let me go back in time. I'm going to go back in time with you guys, okay? The first time that I had seen KSI, he says, oh, in LA, okay. Fingers crossed says, God will forgive you as you have forgiven others. Finger cross racing. All right. Well, shout out to Finger Cross Racing, my man. Let me know what part of the world you are from, my man, and what you essentially mean, in that context. Um, okay. So, all right. Okay. So, here's a story I wanted to tell you, right? The first time that I saw KSI, right? So uh, Pork Chop in the afternoon says, I've been in this stream before. Yes, you have. You have been in this stream before. Welcome. Uh, what stream? In the afternoon says, I've been in this stream before. Let me know what stream that was if you can remember exactly what stream that was, my man. Um, yeah, so I could get some context in exactly what you mean. Okay, so uh, let's see here. Okay, the Raja stream. Okay, okay, yeah, man. Shout out to the Raja stream, by the way, man. That stream and that particular story, yeah, it definitely helped give me a boost, right? I think it gave a lot of channels some boost. I think that if you are a content creator, it would be silly of you to not have jumped on the Raja thing because every type of genre was doing it. The prison genres, the gangster genres, the other mainstream sports genres, the rap genres, they were all doing it. Uh, Pork Chop says, I was accused of being old and racist in German. I am just old and German. Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Give me a little bit of some story and some background on that. What made people think that you were racist in any kind of way? Because you don't strike me as one. Obviously, you're in my page. You support my page. You support a Muslim's page that's all the way from California. So, I mean, can't really hate you on that, obviously. So okay. Boar says I only watched the card with Danis, and Till and Chase Demore. Okay, you didn't watch the Tony fight, MMA Boars, or did you think that Tony was essentially going to lose, on that one? But let me know your thoughts below on that one. Um. Oh yeah. Excuse me. Drinking a little water there. Got something stuck in my throat. So So yeah, the first time I saw uh, KSI was against Logan Paul. By the way, it was an amateur bout, right? It was an influencer card, and I saw the beginning of what we are seeing today. Fresh Melon Juice says, smoking weed and drinking. No, not at all. Not at all. Love the weed. No, no, it's not that at all. Just had had choked on drinking water, and plus having a little bit of some hiccups. So yeah, please excuse me. Pork Chop says primates attack and rip the limbs off 20 of the attack 20 times. Drizzy Goat says early stoppage happens way too often. You're talking about the Tony Ferguson fight. Okay. Drizzy Goat says, what a clown show, bro. Luke Cuckold was a bum. That was a terrible stoppage in Tony's salt fight. He was still on his feet. Fresh Melon Juice says, just kidding. Okay. It's Tony time. Watch Clown Show says. That's the definition of a racist man. LOL. Um, choking on that Wiz Khalifa. He says, Ronald Doctor says, pray Rampage and Raja. The day of reckoning has arrived. What are you talking about, Ronald Doctor? Are you saying that they are that they were arrested, or has there been an arrest going on? Pork Chop says Muslims cannot smoke weed. Yes, yes. This has me coughing earlier had nothing to do with that. I don't know why Fresh always hints that, but yeah, I mean that's what it is. He's the Muslim police, as he says. So he says they can't, but shouldn't. They can't, but shouldn't. Okay, yeah, yeah. France is North Africa, according to Pork Chop in the afternoon. Okay, all right. So I posted the chapter and the verse. So my man here says, if you forgive other people when they sin against you, our heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others your sin, your Father will not forgive your sins. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, let me see if I can pin that comment right there. I'm gonna pin that comment right there. Fingers crossed racing. Okay, so very good. Very interesting. Very interesting on that one. Okay. So Pork Chop says, I am old but willing to celebrity box or fight. Are you interested, Kyra? I don't really know who you are or what you got going on, but yeah, sure. I mean, if the time's right, why not? I say, you know, what weight class are you? So when I fought in MMA, I fought at 155, 170. I fought in Muay Thai at 170. So and I fought as high as 205 before in kickboxing. So yeah, right around there. But all right, man. So once again, look, a lot of nostalgia that had went on, tonight with with all the UFC guys that were in the card. To say the least, it was absolutely nostalgic, and well, I gotta say that Tony Ferguson getting an upset tonight. I don't know if I would necessarily uh, call that an upset. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I would be quick to, really call that an upset. I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Because let's think about this, right? Tony is the much more decorated combat athlete. Wouldn't you agree? Obviously, he's the more decorated combat athlete. Who and what is Salt Poppy? If you really think about it, right? Who is he? He is no more than just a guy who he is no more than just a guy who ended up losing weight, right after deciding to go into boxing. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. So, yeah, so this is why the notion of that being an upset, man, I don't know, man, not so fast. Not so fast. I don't know if I would, really go that far. Big Boars MMA says, Tony broke Salt Poppy. Indeed, he did. He says, hey, Boars, I saw you in Benny's stream. Okay. Drizzy Goat says, bro, what's the no face today? Well, okay, um, I was outside my backyard, sort of filming, and the reason why I don't have a face is because the sun was going down as I would start. Like, rewind from the very beginning of the stream. So if you want to know what scenery I am at right now, start from the beginning of the stream. I'm still, in that same area. The only difference is that it's dark outside. So if you want to know what scenery I am at or what I'm looking like today, just yeah, just look up that particular beginning scenery and what have you, and then you will kind of get an idea. So yeah, so it's like the reason why there's no face is because it wouldn't make sense for me to show you something that is dark when there is no light around here, right? If that makes any sense. So I hope I'm making some sense to you as to why I don't have a face stream going on right now. I hope that answers your question. But yeah, but if you're curious to know, yeah, just rewind from the very beginning. Okay, so yeah, guys, Salt Poppy was one of these guys that decided, hey, you know what? Today I want to be an athlete, right? He didn't train the many years that Tony Ferguson had been training, right? And I think that factors in a lot. Now, look, does Salt Poppy have a lot of natural ability? Ferguson. Okay, that's the question. Does he have a lot of natural ability? Salt Poppy. Well, yes, he has enough natural ability for him to beat uh, the type of guys that he has beaten before. Former MMA fighters, other influencers that also trained profusely, that got into boxing at a very later age. But make no mistake, Tony Ferguson grew up playing American sports. Tony Ferguson grew up playing baseball, indicative of him bringing uh, a baseball to Khabib's press conference. If you remember back in 2018 when they were supposed to fight, on top of that, he brings what else does he bring to the press conference? He also brings, well, I think a baseball bat. I think he's brought a baseball bat before, or has thrown a football and has hinted before that, well, you know what? I'm an American athlete. I've also done soccer. So this is what makes me a formidable MMA fighter and being able to pick up all these techniques very quickly, right? And when Tony Ferguson says that, I believe him because if you grew up in America, right, you grew up under the wrestling system, which is heavily available in our high schools, the multitudes of martial arts gyms, right? Like, for example, all the Taekwondo gyms that I was able to train at when I was a kid, from the YMCAs all the way to the private Taekwondo schools, and even till now. And then the MMA that is available around the United States from the Midwest to the East Coast, especially down to South, and then even more in the West Coast out here, right? So I believe him, right? There's a certain muscle memory that Tony Ferguson possesses, in which Salt Poppy doesn't. So, in other words, in this fight, Tony Ferguson's age, it showed, because let's not forget, Salt Poppy peppered him up. You guys remember that, right? He peppered him up, and he peppered him up good. So as he was peppering him up good, guess what? His skills were showing, but it also showed the age of Tony Ferguson. But at the same time, overall, the years that Tony Ferguson has put into quote unquote playing American sports, the years that he's put into wrestling, the years that he's put into fighting, it showed tonight. And that is exactly why it looked like the way that it did. So, all right, let me read some comments here before I go back. So, okay, Pork Chop L, you are either young or haven't watched or been around a ton of MMA. Fresh Melon Juice says Tony was really happy after the win. It was nice to see. He says boxing is king. Drizzy Goat says Pork Chop stricking is number one. Small Boar's rep stopped it too early for sure. Wrestling is the best martial arts form. Big Boar says Tony hit more than a few unanswered shots. That's true. It's Salt Poppy's fault he didn't defend himself. Anthony Taylor versus Tony. I think Tony would win that one. Anthony Taylor is my boy. But no, you know what? I don't know, man. I think Anthony Taylor has a good chance of winning that one. But I think, yeah, that would actually be a good fight, honestly. Salt Poppy is a soft soy boy. Trump, stop talking about that. Trump. Drizzy Goat says Till got hands, and he's a strong, and that's a strong point. Yes. Fingers crossed says, hey brother, what do you think of the Islamic dilemma? Respectfully. Okay, so to answer your question, fingers crossed. What do you mean by Islamic dilemma, right? I think I kind of know what you mean. There is a strong contingency of Muslims that are rising in the West. For example, there are many Muslims right now in the United Kingdom. For example, the mayor of London is Muslim, right? You would imagine how many other positions would they have in parliament? Would they have in their inner governments, maybe even in the secret service of things, or maybe even for MI5 and MI6, these very influential law enforcement and intelligence positions, right? What would that do for the makeup of England? Well, I could tell you that obviously England is unique to its own population and the type of Muslim population that they have. But in America, well, it has its own Muslim population, but not as pronounced as that would be for England per capita. Because you have to remember, they are still a country that is smaller by size, but also big by population, whereas America is big by its size of its landmass, while also having a double population that could rival China and Russia. Obviously, not China or Russia, but when it comes to population, yeah, the US is up there, which is why we don't have a problem recruiting people in the military. So, okay, not to get on the tangent about the Islamic dilemma. Yeah, I think that there is a strong influence that Muslims are having in the world right now. And many of that is predicated on the internet. Many of that is also predicated on the fact that there's a lot of anti-Israel sentiments that are going on around right now that I think is also being capitalized by the Muslim lobby, right? So I hope that answers your question in the Islamic dilemma. Very good question, by the way, fingers crossed. So I'm going to highlight that comment right now as well. So Drizzy Goat says, Till got hands. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what did I miss here? What about Kamzat? Drizzy Goat says mixing grappling is good, but but stricting is king. Okay, Aspinall, Ankalaev, Ilya, Volk, JDM are major first champs. Am I right? Drizzy Goat, he says, you don't like wrestling? Oops, Strikters. Salt Poppy did good, and I'm an MMA fan for years. Okay, shout outs to AE right there. Wrestling is by far the best. Look up Tony versus Couture. Oh yeah, I mentioned Tony versus Couture earlier. Boxer tried MMA once and got choked by 3 minutes. And yeah, so boxing is king and this and that. Okay, so okay. All right, man. We got a good turnout tonight. You know what? I'm gonna get on I'm gonna get on inside and I'm going to do a face stream for you guys, right? One for the boys, real one time. You know what I mean? We're gonna continue talking about this particular subject because I tell you what, for a non-UFC night, it was a great night, and and we're gonna continue on. So not only are we going to continue on, we're going to continue with a face stream, right? So I'm going to get on camera with you guys, and we're going to, get it on and cracking right there, and continue to talk about these fights. You know what? Also talk about the other fights as well, right? Let's give respect to the full card, even though I could really care less about it, right? That's just being brutally honest about the subject. But all the UFC guys that were involved in this boxing event, for sure, for sure. And I think, if anything, this should be used as a recruiting tool for Dillion Danis. Like, I believe Dillion Danis should absolutely get a shot at the UFC, because it's like what Marty Miller had mentioned earlier that I thought was really brilliantly said by him, right? He said that maybe he doesn't deserve it, right? Because that's going to be the overall argument of all things, right? They're going to say that he doesn't deserve it. And rightfully so, he doesn't deserve it. But guess what? He draws money. Imagine Ian Gary on the mic with Dillion Danis. Do you not want that? Do you not want that? Do you not want to see Ian Gary get in there and have a verbal scuffle with Dillion Danis? Do you imagine, right? And remember, that part is free, okay? Because once we get to the fights, okay, we're going to have to get to the fights at some point, and then we're going to have to find out who is who and what is what, okay? And who is who and what is what is realizing that Ian Gary is going to be way too much for Ian Gary's going to be way too much for Dillion Danis. Oh, he will be. Drizzy Goat says Khabib wanted to smash that clown. So that's what I'm saying, right? During that time, it would have been better had they answered the heat right away. Okay, and I'm going to come into the stream right now. Okay. So bro, Dildo Danis tapped out a Burger King worker, not a UFC level. True. This is why I say that they're going to have to decide on whether he deserves it or not. And obviously, yeah, he said, that's better, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh to you, my man. Imagine him at the White House card. That's what I'm saying, right? Yo, listen, if the UFC really wants to do it big, obviously the way that they're going to have to do it is, get somebody like Dillion Danis to be all up in there. He says, I agree. Danis can have a good promotion, a UFC name. Big Ink smashes him. Put comes out against Uncle Live. Kyrie, should Rockhold retire? Okay, so that's a good question. I'm going to pin that comment by Boars MMA right there. What about Kamzat, Drizzy? Okay, mixing grappling is good, but I'm sticking, but right stricting is king. Okay, Drizzy Goat says Aspinall, Uncle Live, Ilya, Volk, JDM are majority striking. Okay, Striking first champs. Am I right? Okay, stricting. I'm trying to understand what he. I think yeah, he meant to say striking. Okay. Boars MMA says, Gores, go, you don't like wrestling. Okay. Whoops. Sticker. Um, I'm a MMA fan for years. Drizzy Goat says wrestling is no more. Okay. Okay. So okay, yeah, I think I caught up with that one. Okay, so uh, Drizzy Goat says good UFC card next week. Looking forward to it. Uh, who is fighting next week? Let's look up what fight that is right here. Imavov versus Kaio Baharo. So from what I heard, right, he has this really horrible weight cut going on. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. It doesn't look good for him. This this weight cut issue that he has going on, that doesn't look good. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works out for him. Uh, let's see here. I could see Imavov win. I think he is going to win. I'm giving him the win on this one. I know that people are going to say, well, the fight nerds are on a hot streak, but you guys got to understand, right? They can't go out there and fight for you. So, try and understand that they cannot go out there and fight for you. So, yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, so to answer the question, right? Should Luke Rockhold retire? Right. I think that he should. I think that this is going to be very difficult for him to look at and say, well, what are you going to do in MMA? You're going to get knocked out again. You're going to get knocked out in bare knuckle boxing. You're going to get knocked out in regular boxing. You're going to get knocked out in how did he do in karate combat? Let's take a look at that. Luke Rockhold, uh, karate combat. Let's see how he did in that one against Joe Schilling. That was a year ago. Okay, so I can't I can't show you. So okay, let's see how this went right here. Okay, so let's see how this ended right here. Oh wow. Okay, so Luke Rockhold actually won that one. That was a year ago. And you know what? Joe Schillings, man. You know what? That's a tough outing for anybody, man. Drizzy Goat says Valentina or Zhang. I'm rolling with Valentina. I'm rolling with Valentina as well on that one, right? Like I think Zhang is capable of making mistakes. So is Valentina Shevchenko. But I think overall the size and in the overall combat sports experience that she has is going to overpower Zhang. Big Boars MMA says karate combat would be a good fit for him. Yeah, well, he beat Joe Schillings in karate combat, and Luke has good kicks, right? So he's able to mix up the kicks with that process, and as a result of that, I think that that could be the sport for him. Much better than boxing, much better than MMA, and yeah, much better than anything else that he can do. So yeah, yeah. But for Darren Till, what is next for Darren Till? I can tell you what's next for Darren Till is Jake Paul. Jake Paul is next for Darren Till. Jake Paul, maybe, yes. Till versus Tommy Fury, KSI. No, not even Tommy Fury. Even though Tommy Fury has a win over Jake Paul, for whatever reason, past that loss, Jake Paul has allowed himself to remain relevant in ways that Tommy Fury hasn't, right? It's like some guys can go away with a win and not do anything with that win. Like there isn't anything significant that they've done with the win other than I don't know, like ride off into the sunset or not do good in their next fight. Uh, AP, sorry, this is in Russian letters. He says, AP, hello. Any thoughts about Islam Dulatov, the next world MMA star? So that guy is interesting, right? He sort of crossovers a lot of worlds, right? He's a very interesting guy. Look, Marty Miller calls me the race whisperer, right? And that's not a negative connotation in any kind of way because what he is merely explaining is that I can blend in and uh, assimilate myself into different groups of people, in particular, different racial demographics in the United States. In other words, I could mix in with black folks, I can mix in with white kids from the suburbs, I can mix in with all types of people. Obviously, the Muslim community and the Hispanic community and whatnot. Islam Dulatov is a Dagestani, so he has the Muslim and Eastern European fan base behind him. He's also a pretty good striker, right? So he's going to have a lot of American MMA fans behind him, the hardcore MMA fans or those fans that don't like boring wrestling. Okay, but then he has that as well. And then, not to mention, the man is also a model. So now he has the potentials of he's Dagestani. He is not Dagestani. He is from Chechnya, like Kamzat. Okay, so there you go, even bigger, right? Because I think if a Chechnyan fighter, even though Khabib is more popular, right? I think a Chechnyan fighter has a higher propensity of being more popular than a Dagestani fighter if you don't add Khabib into that mix, right? So, in other words, the Chechnyans have a long history, let's say, with the Saudis, right? So, of course, the Saudis are going to be a lot more cooperative with helping Kamzat because now they're going to be helping the government of Ramzan Kadyrov and Putin. And right now, the Saudis have a stronger relationship with Russia than they do with the United States. So, if you put that in perspective, right? Big Boar's MMA says it's basically the same thing. Big Boar says still from similar regions. Yes, yes, yes. Caucasian gangsters. Yes, that's what it is, right? I got Black Flat. I got Black Jag first round KO. I got Black Jag first round KO. Comes out better than Khabib Drizzy Goat says. I would have to agree with that, right? Kamzat is probably better than Khabib in ways that he's a lot more well-rounded. He has well, he's got wrestling on his side as well, but Kamzat more than has just wrestling. Kamzat has the striking as well. So Drizzy Goat says Ulberg KOs him round 1 or 2. Okay, yeah. Reyes versus Ulberg is a tough fight. Yeah, it is. That one is a tough fight for sure. Khabib has totally one round and keep it in your. Khabib has only one round. Keep it in your mind. Okay. Shati says hello, hello. He says hi, hi. How are you? Let me know what part of the world you are from, my man. Drizzy Go says Khabib and Islam never beat anyone as good as DDP. Well, you know what? Who is to say that DDP is not the Dustin Poirier of the 185 division when things pan out the way that they do in the future? Wow, hot take. Yeah, he says, what was the hot take? Khabib never beat anyone as good as DDP. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Who's to say that DDP in the future doesn't become another Dustin Poirier, right? Dustin is a legend. Volk is a legend. There you go. There you go, right? So I don't know if I agree with you on that one. Shetty says, rooting for Imavov. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm rooting for him on that one, too. Uh, what else here? Okay, so let's see. Let's take a look at what is in this card with Imavov. Obviously, there's Imavov and Bohayo. Do you have Dennis or Rufi? Says, do you have Dennis or Rufi? Saint Denis or Rufi? I might have to go with Saint Denis on that one, right? Like, let's not mistaken the type of people that Saint Denis has lost to. So, yeah, I'm gonna probably go with ooh, that's a tough one, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Saint Denis on that one. Yeah, Saint Denis is tough. Yeah, I'm going with Saint Denis on that one. Um, Boljai Oki says versus Mason Jones. That's a good fight right there. I'm going to Mason Jones on that one. Mason Jones trains out here in Sacramento, California, but he's out of Wales, obviously, out in the UK. How about this? Modestas Bukakis coming back to fight Paul Craig. Man, Paul Craig with a little hot turnaround right there. I'm going with Modestas on that one. I think Paul Craig is. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't see him winning this one, right? I see Modestas sort of evolving. Paul Craig has beaten a lot of tough guys. Yeah, I'm going to Modestas on that one. Fareez Zaham taking on Fernandez. Whoosh. I'm going with Faraz Zaham on that one. In the prelims, what do they got? William Gomez versus Robert Richala. And then you got Omar Sy versus Brenson Ribeiro. Marcin Tybura, very low in the card. He's got Anti Dillion. By the way, that guy is a PFL vet, and he's making his UFC debut against Marcin Tybura. All right. Reese McKee, one of Khamzat's first opponents in the UFC, taking on Axel Sola, the undefeated Axel Sola. So they got Reese McKee in, taking on these tough early prospects early on, like what he did with Khamzat. Sam Patterson taking on Trey Waters, 9-1 versus 13-2. Brad Tavares taking on Robert Beiser. Real interesting matchup. Andres Gustafsson taking on Renat Fakardinov. And then Sean Bannon is going to open the card with the first fight of the evening against Sam Hughes. Yeah, I think Sean Bannon is going to win that one by decision. Yeah, Anti is from the PFL. Yeah, Shetty, maybe Great Bones, Duck, the top 10. Roof by KO. Yeah, Nazardine coming in hot. Finishing Israel would be the favorite. Yeah, Saint Denis is tough. Khabib, Dustin, Poirier, Gaethje, McGregor, wake up. Yeah, man, those were. I mean, those were big names for who they were at that time. To be fair, so Drizzy, Tavares so low on the card. How about Myson Tybura? He's low on the card. If anything, him and Anti should be high up in the card at least, right? That's a UFC debut from a PFL, from a top PFL fighter. So yeah, man, I don't know, man. Uh, what do you think about Umar Nurmagomedov? Will he become a champ? You know what? I think that he does. That's a very good question, AP from Russia, right? I think that if he learns to adjust his pace, because right now, the reason why Marab is the top man in the 135 division is because he weaponizes pace. So what Omar needs to do, and what him and Khabib are probably working on behind the scenes, is either learning how to slow down what Marab has going on, or to match what Marab has going on. That's the only way that you can beat Marab. You understand? So another way to beat Marab, you either have to slow him down, or you either have to keep up with that pace, or even push an even higher pace, in which right now Khabib and Umar have to try and formulate a plan to execute that to its fullest extent possible. So does he have a chance to become a champ? I would say Absolutely. Shetty says, keep trying to ish on the heavyweight division. Shetty says, when they should be promoting it the most. Drizzy Goat says Marab has Omar's number. Maybe so. But like I said, two things he needs to do. He needs to either slow down his pace or he needs to up his pace in order to give something that is shocking to Marab that he has never seen before. Uh, Shime says, how many years have you coached a fighter? I have I don't think I've cornered people in fights before, but I'm not necessarily like a coach per se. AP says he broke his hand in that fight. He didn't fully show his potential in that fight versus Marab. Very good point. He was dominating before an arm injury. Very good point. So yes, there is a possibility right there, and you know what? An even better redemption story for Omar. And right now, Marab is on the trajectory of being one of the biggest and greatest 135 fighters there is. So uh, that would be a big, cap to his feather if he was to defeat him. So Islam versus Jack will be fire, bro. That's a massive super fight. I agree, Drizzy Goat. AP says he won the first 2 rounds before the arm injury. He says making excuses using the arm break, LOL. Drizzy Goat says Islam versus Jack bigger than DDP versus Kamzat. You're saying Islam versus Jack is bigger. I would say so, yes, because it's in Madison Square Garden. There is an element of a super double champ going along with that whole entire narrative. There's that going on. So yeah, man, that's what it is. He's going up a weight. He says, yeah, I could absolutely see that. Him. No, you know what? I think this is going to be the first and last 170 fight for Islam Makhachev. Them 170 ain't no joke. They aren't, but I don't think that they've really dealt with the type of wrestling that Islam Makhachev has dealt with, and I think that this is going to be a serious problem for them. AP says, my name is Amir, my Arabic name. Okay, so shout out to you, Amir. What's your thoughts on Ankalaev and Pereira too? I think it's going to be a rinse and repeat cycle this time. And if anything, at most, I think Ankalaev has done enough rounds with Pereira that he could probably finish him off during this fight. Right now, Pereira is not focused. He's out there doing absolutely everything but getting ready for Ankalaev. And with their fight coming up, I don't see what he's going to do any different that Ankalaev is not going to see or that Ankalaev is not going to stop. So it's going to be a repeat from the first fight. But not only that, I think that there could be a finish this time and somewhere in the third round. And that is my official prediction for that one, Amir. So shout out to you, man. Hey, Amir, are you Chechenian by any chance? Obviously, your name on your screen name has a Russian letters on it. So I was just curious. Let me know about that, brother. Drizzy Goat says, yeah, I got Islam by sub round one. Drizzy Goat says, I have Ink Kamzat to Islam, 3 Ilya, 4 Marab, 5. Okay, that's my top pound for pound. Okay, so what is the pound for pound list right now? Let's see if there is anything in the UFC, regarding that. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So Amir says, I am from Dagestan. I'm from the Lakish Nation, like Islam. Have seen him twice in real life, by the way. Oh, okay, man. So shout outs to you on that one. All right, man. Drizzy Goat says, Big Ink is the king. He slayed the powerhouse Poetan. Yeah, man. Well, he might just finish him this time. So look at this. The top pound for pound right now is Ilya Topora sitting at number one, Marab sitting at number three, Kamzat sitting at number four, Alex Pantoja sitting at number five. All right, and then as we go on, it's Alexander Volkanovski at number six, Magomed at number seven, Jack Della Maddalena at number 8. Number 9, Tom Aspinall. And number 10 is Alex Pereira. Number 11 is Dricus. Number 12 is Max. Number 13 is Bilal. Number 14 is Arman. And number 15 is Shafkat Rakhmanov. Okay, so Volk at 6 is a joke. Well, you know what, man? It's the accomplishments that he has going on. Plus, he's a current champion, right? So, yeah. Well, what do you think about that? Top Shafkat is the number 15 pound for pound guy, right? And Armin is number 14, and Bilal is number 13. You could justify that. He's a former champion. Max, obviously champion at BMF. Dricus never really lost to anyone other than Kamzat, and Kamzat is all the way up there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't doubt that, right? Dude has been battered twice. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why the guy that battered him is on top of him. But who else battered him? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But again, it's a very subjective, type of scenario. I would assume, right? Amir says, "What do you think about Volk? He really got robbed versus Gon. Now the champ fights Tom versus Gon. I think at some point, well, look, here's the thing, right? Tom has already beaten Volk, but he hasn't beaten Cyril Gahn. Now, I want you to imagine, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, right? But there is a possibility in a world that it could happen, right? What if, Volk is fighting Almeida next at Big Boars, is that right? Okay. So, yeah, Tom kind of ducked Almeida. Okay, so if Gahn it was to win, then guess what? The next heavyweight championship fight would be Gahn versus Volkov. Amir says, "Yeah, I agree with you on that one." So yeah, man, it's just a matter of one guy that he's never faced before. So obviously, if he can't fight John Jones, then we'll bring in the next best thing, and that is Cyril Gahn, right? And listen, don't count Cyril Gahn out. So, and then we'll see Volk and Cyril Gahn for the world championship this time via rematch. Almeida finishes him, he says. Okay, so all right, so that's a little bit of a UFC talk that we got going on with that one. So let's go to some of the uh, comments, or yeah, some of the statements that the fighters have said tonight after the fight. This is Dillion Danis at Seconds Out right here. Oh, so Boars MMA asks, is there any update on Raja Jackson? I'm going to look that up in just a second after I read this right here. Amir says, okay, choose one of them. Prime lightweight Khabib, prime lightweight Islam, or prime lightweight Topuria. My answer to that one is prime lightweight Khabib. Even though Islam has better striking and probably more well-rounded than Khabib, Khabib's wrestling is so strong that it takes him very far and it saves him from a lot of troubles. His wrestling is basically like his sidearm. You know what I mean? Like you run out of bullets in your assault rifle, you pull out your sidearm, your Glock, or your Colt 45 or your Desert Eagle or whatever pistol you have, right? So that's what it is. His wrestling is like his pistol, whereas the rifle is your overall MMA game. Fiji says, you look like a wannabe Khabib. Well, Khabib did not invent having no mustache beard. It is literally an Islamic requirement. So, if I look like a wannabe Khabib, then great, because Khabib, wants to emulate the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And as a result of that, well, that is why we all look like we want to be like each other. Amir says Islamic Sunnah. Exactly, brother. Exactly. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh to all the Muslims around the world. And I hope you guys are enjoying this content because, man, not only, oops, sorry about that, had to I said not only did I enjoy the fights tonight, yeah, we all want to look like the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, not Khabib. There you go. I'm going to mark that comment right there, Amir, because that literally is what it is, right? We're not trying to look like anybody else other than the Prophet, peace be upon him. So you are definitely right about that. Okay, so let's get to some audio on Dillion Danis and his reaction to tonight.
You try to even touch me, I'm going to break any bone in your body or get your neck or break your neck.
I think everyone expected it to be quick, but did you expect it to be that easy?
No, because once I knew with the, because with the, yeah, sorry, he just dropped Rockhold. Thank God. Fuck this motherfucker. Oh, you're going to get him. He's done. Come on.
He's reacting to Luke Rockhold getting beat up, actually. So this is actually interesting.
You know, I told you I cracked his chin, so this might be the problem. I cracked his chin yesterday.
What actually happened yesterday?
Yeah, I cracked his chin and he got fucking insulted against the wall once I cracked. Look at him. Did you end it? He pushed him.
Is it over?
No, he just he went to him. Darren shoved him around.
Well, this fight's gone longer than yours anyway, Darren.
I cracked Rockhold on it was yesterday, so his chin isn't the same. And then today I cracked another chin. But I wanted to see him. I didn't shoot. I was gonna knock him out. So once I cracked him, I saw it in his face. The small gloves, and I could hit hard. I've been training with God for a long time, so I hit very hard. I trained with some of the biggest hitters in the world, and I'm honoring prayer. And I know how to turn my punches over. So I knew once the little gloves, he felt it, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, "You hurt, motherfucker." So then he tried to clinch, and then after that, you can't come close to me. But if I'm not gonna pass up on a submission. You know, if it's there, it's there. So.
Why do you think Warren Spencer tries to shoot you straight away?
Well, I just said, I dropped.
Yeah, I did.
No, I dropped him.
Dropped him first.
Yeah, but you watched it. What?
Yeah.
Watch the shot. He wobbles his legs, so he was wobbled, and then I guess I didn't want to get hit anymore, so he tried to clinch me. So when he clinched, I just shoved his head down. You know what I mean? I don't know if he thought we were not. I don't know what he was thinking. But I cracked. That's what I'm saying with the small love. I'm hard hitter. I just repeated myself. But yeah, I cracked him, and he was wobbled. I don't know if people saw it because it was a temple shot. And he looked there, and he
Drizzy Goat asks, you rolling with Bud to run through Canelo? Yes, I got Bud all day as well. Dildo Danis lost to Logan Paul. Dude's a joke. Drizzy Goat says he's another no nickel, no striking. He's not a real man. Amir says, any thoughts on Shamil Gaziev? Have you seen his last fight? Dude, I think if anybody is ducking, if Tom Aspinall is ducking anybody, he's ducking that guy.
Was there an altercation with you in the ring after the fight? I don't know if I saw
it. It was Eddie Hall. Yeah, Eddie Hall. Because he wants to fight me in MMA. Rockhold's really good on that. He wants to fight me in MMA. Yeah, but he won't go under 400 pounds. I'm like, make the UFC fucking weight, man. At least I want to go. I'm 170. I'm going to fight you. You're 465. That's like ridiculous. I was like, at least make 265. You know, that's just crazy. You know, so yeah. But Eddie Hall said, if you want to start that fight, that was Yes, sorry. Yes, I did. That's very realistic for this title defense.
So through that fight, how do you think that one plays out?
I think it was quicker than this one, to be honest. I think it was supposed to be Tony this time around. It was supposed to be Tony this time around, and the same thing would happen to him. And, I give him his respect in the ring. It's been a long time since he's got a win, and I was very happy for him. I didn't want to steal his moment too much, but this should have been him. It should have happened more. Should be boxing with him. Yeah. I'm sticking to MMA. What you asked me questions like that. Come on. I'm sticking to MMA. I'm sticking to what I'm good at. A real fight.
Boxing. The Misfits scene.
If it's a minute, it doesn't matter where it is. I'm the champion here, so if he wants to get the belt, he said he loves hard work. So if he wants to take the belt, we can put both belts on the line. I don't care. He had a use.
Till versus Andrew Tate. Yeah, I think that would be a good fight. Obviously, not a good one for Andrew Tate, but yeah, a good fight nonetheless. Love that belt. Right. It has a bit of like a WCW feel to it, or a Pride Fighting Championship feel to it. Boars MMA says exactly. Danis said it's best for MMA, better for him. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have the mechanics for boxing, but MMA he does.
So if I beat him, he gives me his belt.
You're impressed with what he did, though. It's all
I didn't really get to see much, but I'm very happy that Tony won. You know, it's good to see MMA guy get a win, so definitely very happy. And, you know, at the end of the day, Tony's MMA legend. I mean, you're happy to see that. His family's there, you know. It's a good moment for him. Fair pleasure.
Yeah. What happened there? I saw you speaking to KSI at the end of your stuff. What happened there?
Yeah, well, I said to him, look, I stepped in the ring with Logan. I almost called you in boxing. You pulled out. I was stepping in.
Drizzy Goat says, yeah, Tate's a kickboxer. LOL, Till probably beats Top G, but he's a harder fight than I think that he would put up a better fight than Rockhold for sure.
your world. You step into my world and see what happens. That's what I was saying to him. And then his security guard was like, if you come over here, he's done. I said, I'm sorry. Okay, bro, you can be live with it. It's good. He's done. 10 count. I said to him, his bodyguard was saying, if you come over here, something's going to happen or something. I said, you jump in the ring, the same thing will happen to you. You go fantastic. That's what I said to him. And he was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, yeah, jump in here and see what happens. I'll take you out quicker than I did Warren. So that's what I was saying in case I was trying to look down and the bodyguard was trying to talk shit to me. But he's a scared little boy. He knows what would happen to him.
I think it's quite accepted the case. I would probably never fight.
Yeah, but what? It's like, why do I got to go fight him in boxing? Why do I got to fight him in boxing? You know, come into my world. Let's do a real fight.
Amir says, Armin Sarukian or Topuria. Don't you think that Topuria is ducking Armin? You know what? They both train with Kamzat, right? So they probably train with each other, and there's probably something that Topuria knows about Armin that makes him understand that could be detrimental against his best interest. Drizzy Goat says, I think Davis will KO Jake Paul, LOL. Who you got in that one? I think it's a draw. I mean, they're going to fight an exhibition, so I don't think there's going to be a knockout. I don't think they can knock each other out even if they tried, let alone the fact that they're going into what do you call it? A sparring exhibition match.
Me and him are in this room. It wouldn't be boxing. It would be a free fight, and everybody knows what would happen.
I think it's because you're probably you're a world class grappler. You know, these guys are not world class boxers.
Yeah, but he claims to be. I mean, Jake Paul signed a PFL, right? Yeah, he's a world class boxer. He wants to say he wants to fight Mike Tyson, do all these guys. He's saying he's gonna be a world champion. Let's see in a real fight.
What do you make a time versus Trump?
That's a joke. It's a joke, you know. Yeah, it's a joke. It's gonna be like Mike Tyson. It's gonna be a sparring match, and after they're gonna just steal everybody's money. Same thing.
You mentioned Islam and Hamza.
Yes.
Obviously, you want to fight, but
yeah.
What makes you think you're gonna get that fight?
I will get that fight because the UFC right now is lacking stars. I'm the only one you've seen this whole week sell this whole thing. I wanted to sell it more, but there were some things that went into it. The UFC wants to see me more tame, but you know, I'm the one. People enjoy what I'm doing. You know, and the fight is not just a fight; it's the whole package. It's the storyline, it's the build-up, and in the UFC that's lacking. And these guys are boring as fuck. So I can go in there and I'll take on anybody first. Like Kevin Hall, if they want to be a top 15, top 10, top number 1, I don't care who it is, I'll beat them all.
What do you make of UFC?
Hamza and Islam out of the two?
Who's better?
No, who do you prefer? Which one of the two they come to?
They're both easy. Like people don't understand. No one ever fought a grappler like me. Like what happened to Hassan when he fought Darren. I'm a way better grappler than Darren. So I think that would be easy. But Islam is just smaller, so I guess you could say that. But actually, you know what? Islam, because there's a revenge there where you punch.
He says, give me the smaller skilled fighter. He says, okay. Big Boars MMA says, Danis beats both Paul brothers in MMA for sure. That's facts. Big Boars MMA says he beats KSI. Yeah, man, that's easy work for sure.
Back of the head after the B-box game, you know, so that's one I think maybe I would prefer that one, you know what I mean? Because of the altercation. Yeah,
what do you make of UFC going to the White House?
So you can go get him.
Have you spoken to Conor or did he message you?
To be honest with you, because you guys have been talking, I haven't been on my phone, but I'm sure, I don't know if he posted or he hasn't, I'll probably call him after I'm done talking. Ever since I got out of the ring, I had to go to Tony, and then I've been doing media since. I haven't seen my phone, but I was going to FaceTime him after. I think he has a card going on right now in Marbella, something going on. So I was going to do that after actually FaceTime. Yeah, I'm sure he saw it though. I'm sure he's messaged me. But yeah, I had a long talk with Conor Bennett, who was really cool. The boxer, he was really like saying he wants to learn some jiu-jitsu, show me some boxing. So I have a lot of respect for him. That was really cool.
Did what happened between you and Rockhold at the hotel?
I told her that's why his chin is so weak. I mean, I cracked him. I can't say too much because we don't want to get the commission involved. That's why the video didn't come out. But there's a reason that his chin is so weak. We weakened that little chin that he had. He would have got knocked out by Gus to win anyway, but we put a little dent in it.
He said you started it.
He did. Yeah, 100%. Oh, he got pulled.
Oh.
Wow. He deserves it, that little fucking.
As good as Murphy is, Amir, I don't think that he's better than Evloev. I think that is, far too much for him, in my opinion.
Bitch, I'll be honest with you. Fuck him.
Why do you make him UFC going to the White House?
Wow.
What do you make?
I want to be on that card, so that's it. It'd be Connor, it could be Islam. That'd be
Connor's on that card. You think he comes back?
I 100% believe so. I can't say what I know, but you know, coming from just a fan, not a friend, I can't wait to see that. Connor's my favorite fighter of all time, and I'd be as a fan. I'm saying I'm playing as a friend. I'd be.
Yeah, Murphy's striking is crazy. By the way, the scene you're looking at right now is, Manchester City. So that is actually where Murphy is from. So, and that is where this fight took place tonight. So I figured I'd go and feature it one time.
The best fight you can make for that, you know. I'm so excited for that. Who's going to? Oh, French.
Is there a video out there? Is there a video out there of the Rockhold incident somewhere?
I can't say it because of the condition, but look what just happened. That's because I weakened that jump. So you can put that out there. But he knows what happened to him. That's, at the end of the day, you saw the picture. You saw that big right hand load up, and you saw what he did tonight. So, yeah. What happened, happened. I can't say too much. If like this, I wouldn't be happening. That's all I got to say. But we had to make sure the main event went on. And he said he left this mark on my face on Twitter or something. He said, you know, you got to imprint on my face. Look at my face. Nothing there.
Yeah, well, there it is, man. So obviously, Dillion Danis and Luke Rockhold got into a street fight, but he said that he got the best of it. Yeah, Amir says his striking is definitely crazy. Yeah, he definitely has some crazy strikes going on in that one. All right, so let's hear what else other people had to say in the card tonight. Who else was in there? Dillion Danis. Oh, okay. So they had a fight press conference. Okay, let's check out the fight press conference. Let's go with that one.
Again, from my perspective, it's a 4-round fight. They've both gone down in a round, so we're talking about a 2-round fight. So to judge a 2-round fight when they're swinging and missing, it's very difficult. Could have given it a draw. I don't think Joey could have lose the fight. I think a draw would have been okay. But, you know, we've got the hometown nod. I'd love to see that fight again. I'm not sure we will, but I would love to see that fight again.
They said that there's been some conflicting reports of Andrew Tate possibly joining.
I speak to all kinds of fighters, all kinds of different figures, and you know, until there's news to report, there's no point talking about anything, you know. But yeah, I speak to. So I'll speak to Paul Gascoigne next week. You know, people. 15 seconds. 6 seconds. You still have the MMA record on this one because that was his main training partner. I was taking issues of that's his main training partner. Well, yeah. So the same thing. I'm not. I talk to all kinds of different figures. We're in the business of bringing about viral moments, fighters that will make news, and you know, all different walks of life, something for everyone. As you can see by the fighters on the stable right now, very, very high level. You know, the highest level in the world, and all the way down to, and not taking anything away from Joey Essex and Numero. What an absolutely entertaining fight. But the point of it was they're both around the same level, and that's what makes it entertaining.
I mean, he knows we gone through. We showed the list of people that we tried to get. They didn't take it. It would be pretty crazy because there's a lot of guys that are world champions and have a lot of athletes that turned on this fight. But after this, seeing the performance I put on, I think we'll get big.
Let's digest the amazing night that it was tonight. Obviously, I've got ideas. There was always talk of Tony and Dylan as well in MMA. I think that's an interesting thing to look at.
Like you said, we'll digest this one. You know what I mean? We're gonna enjoy these victories. You know, we got our belts, which is pretty cool.
I'm very happy that Toby won, by the way.
Yeah, I think
Respect.
unlikely. We got the unlikely. What was it?
I'm unlikely viewer.
Difference how it goes, but you know,
I was super happy.
Kids feel like pretty good.
You acted it.
Feels all right, man. I think in the end, I think some of us are just misunderstood. I say that, you know, with open arms, and we found a house here over at Misfits.
I was happy to see Toby win.
Yeah, likewise.
Very happy.
I suppose he did it once. He's actually been on it. So long 2019, and you last one in place.
I remember actually. Celebrate tonight.
What was the feeling like, you know, getting your hammer down in front of you and the point of you have to raise a hand and you have to do like this. What was the feeling like getting that W after all that?
I envisioned it when I was starting the training camp and then going through training camp. You know, the nerves they left. I found myself a lot more comfortable outside of boxing. Always have. The only time I really found myself in the cage was during fight night. So I've always wanted to throw on some shoes, throw on some 10-ounce gloves, and throw some slings, some leather. So here we go. Got this belt.
Yeah, hands down, he beats Murphy straight up.
Can't make the UFC heavyweight limit, but if he makes
Yeah, and he beats Volk as well, for sure.
425 is what he wanted to fight at. I'm 170. So, like, come on, make at least in the UFC limit. Him and MMA.
Look, right now, I am a boxer. Let's not forget the level I got in this. Of course, right now I'm a boxer. Me and Dillion are on the same path, you know, we respect them. Past all the bullshit, Dillion is a high level grappler. And so, yeah, look, if it was ever there, we'd do it. But right now, you just see what I'm about. Tell me about that shit around there, come on.
Yeah, Darren Till seems to be content with being in boxing right now than he is in MMA. And I think a lot of that is predicated on the damage that Darren Till has taken all throughout the years in MMA. And so I think being in boxing right now, he feels fit, he feels great, not overtrained, right? That's a real important thing to understand. This is why I say that for older guys that are coming off of MMA and they still want to compete, they should go into boxing. Anderson Silva is a prime example of that. But Darren Till, on the other hand, he's still young, so he has an opportunity to be a two-sport superstar in that end.
I don't know if you guys know Luke personally. He's a scumbag, and I'm so happy that he went out like that. I weakened his jaw a little bit yesterday, but Till's left hand, but we put him out, and the way he was laying on the ropes, he's like, fuck you, man. He's an egomaniac, so I hit him with a couple lines, and his ego, he couldn't handle it. But we weakened his jaw a little bit, and then Till just finished it off. And I'm so happy to see that. I think Luke's dead. He might be at his funeral. I don't think he got up to put him out cold. Laying on the ropes.
Damn, bro, that's a cold thing to say.
When it's all said and done, I put a lot of hard work into it. I felt like I was being patient. It was just, we got some memory was just like, it's just coming all together. And obviously, the knockout came and pairs out. I felt like it was a knockout for everything. But, like, you know, I wanted to just test things, go through a lot of bodies. But it was also no disrespect to his foot very stiff in there. And it was just, to be honest, it was really easy. It was too easy. I can't lie, it was just so easy.
Darren, you went for watching the end there. Where does this patient next week?
I just don't think I'm going to get a fight again to see my boxing so far with these guys. Carl, sculling out of there, like, where did he go? Is he here?
He said that he doesn't think he's going to get a fight with any of these influencer guys because of how scary he looks.
Sat there just like yours, okay, you know what you want, get in the ring and face me like a man.
Darren, you said that obviously before in previous interviews that you would be willing to fight Andrew Tate, obviously Andrew could obviously. Will you fight
Here we go. The Andrew Tate question.
We go sometimes, please. We'll talk.
He said he doesn't think that he's better than Jake Paul. That's crazy to say and kind of humble on his part to admit.
It's too high level.
He's a bigger star, on a bigger trajectory. Why am I going to sit here and waste my breath with my time? He's not taking it, so I'll just won't call for it. Andrew Tate won't take it. Mike Perry, George Weston, none of them won't take it. That's Magnus. Magnus, like, I've heard sometimes I throw one of the bus, but I've got to. No one wants to fight.
I got you. Just be patient. Enjoy your night. We're in Manchester. You have a good night tonight, and then Monday we'll talk. What? No, there's ideas. We'll talk about it. What's the next question? Does anyone have a different fucking question?
Yeah, I just saw the title, but you know, who's got the real title? Who's that guy? Another influencer. We're gonna talk, money talk, push the box, but we're gonna stay so I mean, to be real. I like boxing. I like to make it 2-0.
Wait, sorry. What's that? Nothing. I don't want to spoil any surprises, but it's going to be very different, very rooted in some tradition with a new aesthetic and a slightly more entertaining, a rule set that's built for entertainment and no excessive hugging on the ground.
Wow, what is this? Okay, so they're talking about a new type of fighting rule set. If they're talking about a certain fighting rule set, are they talking about maybe kickboxing or something similar to kickboxing, or maybe karate combat? Who knows? I guess we're gonna find out.
I'm not putting anything down. Obviously, I'm a massive student of the UFC's progress and everything. Big fan of Dana's, but I think there's a time for something fresh right now. And look, this is a new era for Misfits. This is the new era. I'm sitting here on this table with the new Degeneration X of Misfits.
He said the new Degeneration X.
I'll let Callum answer that one.
Yeah, we've got a chat. Yeah, I mean, I've made a lot of fights with Paul Froch over the years. You know, two Kessler fights, Abraham, George Groves at Wembley Stadium. So I've done a few with Cole. I think we can get it done, but we'll see.
Darren, do you feel like Cal doesn't want to fight with you? Do you feel like we'll be more of a brutal knockout?
I don't know. I'd like to be a truth-teller all the time. Carl's probably one of the best British fighters we've had in boxing, professional boxing. Like, if you look back at his accolades, I have to be realistic. Like, he's talking shit, I'm talking shit, so the fight should get made. But I just feel like the more I'm talking shit, the more he's backing off. And it's like, I'm a bigger guy, and he also got power. Okay, yeah, is he a better boxer than me? Yeah, he is, but I just know it, MMA and stuff like that, they're mad there. So I called it on, sat there for all the yawning, and I'm saying, oh, you do all that yawning thing, and that, like, well, what are you doing, mate? It's like, you get in the ring and face me, like, you're chatting like you're going to be telling me for something, you can crack me. So you know what we do to them? Does he actually do it? I'm just scored my ears, just knocked that up. Tony knows, Tony didn't know how to wrap me up. And I too as well, we both, I did, come on, you don't spend 6 years in Brazil, I'm about to wrap a little girl. Get that choke for me, come on. It's not a good boy.
It's taking one step at a time. I'm making offer. I invited him here tonight. He came. He hasn't been to another Misfits so far that I can remember. So he's really interested in the fight. Yeah. Look, he's been out the ring a while, So he'll have looked at tonight, and it's a question of has his fists got itching? It's as simple as that. I mean, Darren's right when he says they both talk, and now it's a question of the Carl fancies. It doesn't need to financially, but it's for any other reason. But the question now is, does he really fancy it? Only Carl can answer that. So I have just been clever for 2 years. I have not made him an offer yet. He did fantastic tonight. He done fantastic. Great corner, great gym up there as well. I've done a lot of business up in Scotland. It's great boxing. But we want to take this to Scotland, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think it would make sense, him coming off a loss and Salt Papi coming off a loss, maybe they can rematch. That would make sense. I think a lot of people would like to see that.
So they're trying to throw some rematches here.
No, not right now. I think Slim would have to earn that. I think unifying the belts is the move, or if Tony and Dillion want to get it on, I think those are the two fights that are most interesting.
Obviously, it never happened in MMA. Do you think possibly you could bring Conor through Misfits and fight?
He's scared shitless of me. I did a mama fight. Same thing with that coward beater. These are the two fighters that I love to want to fight. I got dossiers on both of them. I scared the shit out of them, and you know what? They just don't want to fight what they do, and we'll find out a way how to do it. But I'm here. I'm really rested. I feel great, and I'm great. And I'm ready to do tonight.
So, how do you feel about when you say that Conor's scared of him? Conor? I mean, he doesn't want that fight. No, but I like Tony, but he doesn't want to get hurt. I mean, Conor's my boy, one of my brothers, so I like Tony a lot. He won tonight, but I don't know that's the path he wants to take.
We had the same, to be real, we had the same management, so they knew how I trained, where I trained, and how, about to win. And they tried to example that.
Yeah, that's right. It has been, over the years where they had really thought that Conor McGregor was trying to duck Tony Ferguson, right? That is a thing that a lot of people do talk about. So, yeah, a little interesting fact. And they were part of the same management team, if you remember back with what's his face, El-Kheer, right, for Paradigm Sports Management in LA. So yeah, they were part of that same team and that squad.
It worked for them for the longest time. They knew how fucking deadly I am when I really put it in there. I'm that guy with the red lipstick that kind of just goes right there, and he's that guy. I'm a sniper when I come into it.
Have you had conversations with about practicing the nervous fight?
Not directly with Gip, but with some of his team. I think it'd be very interesting fight in one conference.
Just a note on Tyler 21 tonight. You guys have been talking about
we're gonna again digest what happened tonight. I think it was a great performance to hang in there with world-ranked fighter like Sean Hemphill. I don't know about some of the judging on that. I think I scored it 5-5, but I'm not a judge, and Ty's my guy. But let's see. We'll have that discussion.
I'd love to see him fight Liam Cameron, Lyndon Arthur. That time's got the fight coming up. They have that sort of level, which fight that is.
There's always if no one accepts your fight, no one wants to fight you. Would you end up fighting someone ranked with the WBA or anything like that to fight for one fight eventually?
Want to go with the pro boxing and get 20 grams for it? Thank you. What else is like shit I got promoted all that box? Scumbag. Yeah, right. Scumbag.
You guys does that for me.
No, it's not. Is it? Come on. Me and Misfits, I hope it's me and Misfits.
It's you and Misfits. What is it? He looks scouts and negotiations going on right now. Don't think we got.
I'm sorry to say, look, I'd love to do it, but it'd have to be for big dollars. I ain't going to do it.
What about Misfits? Promoter, everything like that.
And yeah, I'll fight anyone, but please, I'm happy here. Come on, that's what I'm fighting. It's good. Life's good. Come on, it's like good, baby. Can we get us some watches tomorrow? We'll be skins in a few weeks, but we'll buy them. Come fuck me up. They need a little content. Fucking both of us.
I was able to come too. He's too big time now. He's too big time. He's too big time. I tried to have him walk out with me. Yeah,
Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it.
All right, so that is the entire press conference right there that we sort of reacted to, right? Reacted, but on any regards, yeah. So we sort of covered everything that we needed to cover about this fight tonight. Let's start from the very beginning, right? We talked about how Darren Till defeated Luke Rockhold. It was a one-sided match. I told you guys, if there is an American MMA fighter and a British MMA fighter, and they are going into a boxing ring, I'm going to go with a British MMA fighter because one of the first things that the British guys start learning very early on is hands. And that's exactly what Darren Till was able to put on Luke Rockhold. Now, over the years, boxing has been a reality of a weakness in Luke Rockhold's game, and it just got exploited tonight once again. But by the way, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because I've been covering this fight for you guys all day. So let's get this cracking, right? Tony Ferguson defeats Salt Papi. Now, Salt Papi was doing a very good job of this fight, picking him apart, showing why him being the younger fighter, but also the less damaged fighter, gave some positive effects. But overall, the strength of schedule, the athletic prowess that Tony Ferguson has gained over the years was still there, even at an older age. He was able to defeat Salt Papi with an amazing comeback from a fight that looked like he was losing. So let's not mistaken that in any kind of degree, right? So Tony Ferguson defeats Salt Papi via stoppage from a comeback victory. And by the way, all in the same boxing card, Dillion Danis scores a 15-second submission in an MMA rule set inside a boxing ring versus an UK influencer named Spencer, right? So did he beat anybody significant in this particular setting? Not really. But at least what he was able to do was match himself up correctly, because remember, Dillion Danis didn't exactly have any MMA fights for the past couple of years, right? He's been inactive from MMA for the past couple of years. So as a result of that, coming in here, I think was really perfect to try to get his feet wet a little bit, right? Because he's going to have more fights as time goes on. He's going to have different fights, more difficult fights in that regard. So this is a great start, right? The guy has kickboxing experience that he fought. The guy that he fought has influencer boxing experience as well. So it was great. He was able to use his striking, and he also rocked him right before he submitted him, which kind of shows you the overall evolving game of Dillion here. So let's see here. Let's make sure that I have. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't even turn the monetization on this one right here. So every. Okay. All right, so we'll get this cracking right here. All right, so a little bit of a bonus round that we got going on right now. Let's take a look at the rest of the card that was in here. So let's see here. Okay, so Okay, so let's get to let's see here. Some of the results earlier of the night. What were some of the let's take a look at some of the results earlier in the night here. Let's pull up Topology. Okay, so this took place in Manchester. Obviously, as I'm showing you guys Manchester right here. Now, these were considered exhibition bouts, weirdly enough, right? Overhand left, Till defeats Rockhold. We went over that one. Uh, who else was in the card right here? How about this fight we had earlier in the night, right? Raheem Perdresi defeats Amadeus Rozek via TKO body shot. And then you had Amir Anderson defeating Vitor Sequeira, right uppercut, left hook in the 5th round. Yeah, that was one of the most exciting fights of the night. Chase Demore defeating Macron by Dr. Stoppage. Ty Mitchell defeats Sean Hempel. Man, what a story on Ty Mitchell, right? You know, served time in prison, got out, got into boxing, and changed his life for the positivity. Carla Jade defeats Darren Harris. Demi Sims defeats Nadishi Hopkins. And then Jerron Ingram defeats Banty Singh. It was very early into the night when that fight had gone on right there. Very early. Yeah, first fight of the night. So, yeah, man, great night of fights they had going on, man. Can't complain. Can't complain about the night of fights that they had going on tonight. It was fun. It was fun. Okay, it was fun and it was awesome. So, um, what else? What else do we have going on with this one? Yeah, man, we basically talked about a little bit of everything. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Drizzy Goat says Dustin Poirier got slept by Justin's head kick that never happened to DDP. Yeah, you're right about that. Drizzy Goat says Dustin ain't no DDP, bro. Well, okay, you know what? You're right about that. But in hindsight, listen, there's gonna come a time. There's going to come a time where he's going to get slept at some point. At some point, DDP is going to get slept, my man. Okay, it's not happening right now. It may not happen in the next fight, but eventually, in hindsight, I believe that is what is going to happen to DDP. Like there's just a limit in in being dominant for this long. Like it starts with Kamzat taking him down over and over again. And next thing you know, after Kamzat takes him down over and over again, then next thing you know, it becomes a situation where now somebody figures out his striking. Now it is a time where his striking is now actually being really exposed, right? Like all of these striking deficiencies that he has going on, it's being exposed for the world. Okay, like now people are starting to understand, wow, dude, listen, this guy has some deficiencies in his striking. Okay, he can't pull the trigger, or he zigs when he should have zagged in this situation. They're going to start to figure him out. Drizzy Goat says it was an ish show. LOL. Come on now, bro. Clown shows these days. Look, you're right. You're right. Look, here's the thing, right? The reason why they call it misfits is because they make no bones about who they are or what they are, and they know exactly what they are, and that is exactly what you're saying, is that they are quintessentially a clown show. Okay, now look, I don't blame you for saying that, but it's like It's like stating the obvious, okay? It's kind of like this, right? It's kind of like, let's say you go uh, to a high school basketball game, okay? You go to a high school basketball game. It was a great game. There are some high school games that get very exciting where it goes back and forth, where you don't know who the winner is, okay? Uh, and then you go on and you say, well, you know what? This is not real basketball because it's not the NBA, but it was an exciting game, right? And you did pay, I don't know, how much do these high school games cost? Maybe like a $10 entrance fee or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, so you understand what I mean, right? Like they have their own lane is what I'm saying. Fingers crossed racing says Quran confirms Torah New Testament. Islam claims Bible is corrupt, meaning Allah's revelation is both affirmed and corrupted. Base level of Islamic dilemma. It goes deeper. Okay, very very interesting. Subject that you're bringing up. Fingers crossed. Sorry, bro. Right now, it's not specifically the time that I would like to talk about that right now. Only because I'm really hyped up on the fights that have happened tonight. I know Drizzy Goat is saying that this is a clown show or this and that, but hey, listen, Drizzy, you and I know there is no UFC tonight. There is no boxing and none of that. So because of that, uh, we have this as a supplement, as sort of a replacement and what have you. God bless you, brother. Hey, he says, I understand. Yeah, for sure. And you know what? At any given time, trust me when I tell you, I am absolutely down to talk about this subject. On any given time, at any given part of the year, or maybe even this week. Yeah, man, no problem. We can absolutely chat it up and talk about this particular subject about religion, and the differences of the Quran and the Bible and whatnot. But for now, I kind of want to play, sports commentator for the night. But it's all good, like you said, right? And look, we're enjoying a little bit of some view of Manchester City right here, right? By the way, one of the reasons why I love Manchester as well, obviously, is because it's the city where my favorite soccer team resides in. So look into Dilemma sometime. I will. And when I look at it, I will talk to you about it and let you know. And if Marty Miller is here, by the way, I looked at who that guy you were talking about, Lee Scott Peterson. I've seen him before. I never knew his name, but yeah, he does have some crazy takes, and definitely be down to talk about that subject sometime. So, okay, so another more takeaways from this particular topic, right? Luke Rockhold should retire because I tell you what, if Conor McGregor was to get in at any capacity of boxing, bare knuckle boxing, or MMA, the way that Luke Rockhold did tonight, that's exactly how Conor McGregor would look like at the White House, and he would have gotten stretched out in the same similar fashion, and I stand on that. Look, sometimes it's not about athleticism, it's not about genetics, it's not about whether you're healthy or not. Sometimes it's just really about what's in your mind. I guarantee you that Luke Rockhold going into this fight in Manchester was absolutely in shape and was ready to go. The only problem is that his mind was not into it. And that is where you got to understand and know that you have to retire. Fingers crossed racing says, I'm very excited for the Gunn and Aspinall fight. You know what? Uh, I'm sincerely excited as well. I'm glad that you're saying that, right? Because as a hardcore fan, look, we wanted one thing, and that was John Jones. Here's the problem. We're not getting John Jones. As a result of not getting John Jones, we got the next best thing, and that is Tom Aspinall taking on Cyril Gane, right? And sometimes that's just what combat sports gives you, and that is what life lesson I'm going to leave this tonight, okay? Sometimes combat sports leaves you with just enough to make you wanting to come back, right? You wanted Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. You're not going to get it, but guess what? You'll come back for an Abu Dhabi card with Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall, and they've never fought before. So you're going to be compelled to wanting to watch that. Well, tonight there was no UFC, but we had former UFC fighters involved in a boxing match, and one MMA fighter in an MMA fight in an all boxing card, which was basically his job interview to the UFC. You heard Dillion Danis say earlier tonight, yeah, I would have wanted to say more or done more, but the UFC told me that they are watching me, or I don't want to do anything to jeopardize my chances on that. So, guys, with that in mind, I'm going to leave you with this. It's been a great night of fights. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I've had a great time covering these fights with you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Check out my new content, my new videos that I have out right now, and also the next content and the next live stream that I'm going to do next, inshallah. And I would like you guys to come here and join me for that. So, with that in mind, God bless everybody around the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. And we'll leave it off right here with some great scenes of Manchester, the place where this fight resided at tonight. So here we go. It is lovely, isn't it, Boards, right? I mean, it's a great way to feature the city of the fight that we're paying attention to tonight, right? That's sort of the theme that I like to do for every fight that we cover, right? Well, if they're going to be in New York, I'm going to show some scenes in New York. If they're going to be in Manchester, I'm going to show some scenes in Manchester. If they're going to be in Boston, I'm going to show scenes in Boston, so on and so forth, right? Sort of give that, sort of give that uh, fight week feel without actually really being there. But yeah, sort of understanding like the mindset of the environment of where these fighters are at. So, you know, uh, that's why I got a different vision of how I want to convey and present MMA to the world, and this is one of them, right? Showing something that is somewhat of something that is cultural, something that is, yeah, yeah, to that degree, right? Drizzy Goat says Aspinall KO's gone in round one. You know what? I'm hesitant on that a little bit, Drizzy Goat. You want to know why? The reason why I'm hesitant on the notion that Tom Aspinall knocks him out in round 1 is because of the fact that, well, look, Cyril Gane is hard to hit. If Tom Aspinall gets past round 1, he loses. If Tom Aspinall gets, wow. So you honestly think that Cyril Gane can beat Tom Aspinall and all he has to do is just pass 1 round? I don't know, man. I may have to agree with you on that one. I may have to agree with you on that one. There is a good chance that that is the case, right? So I don't know, but we shall see. We shall see. That is an interesting fight that is coming up, and I can't wait for it. So, and we never seen Aspinall in the later rounds. Yeah, that is true, man. That is true. That is a bit concerning, right? They never seen Cyril Gane in the later rounds. So Big Boars MMA says Gane never gets KO'd. Drizzy Goat says we will see. Gane is a joke. Well, you know what? Understand this, guys. Styles make fights, so you never know. But guys, listen, with that in mind, I'm going to leave you with this last comments that we have right here. Hey, listen, shout outs to Drizzy Goat, Boars MMA, Marty Miller. Also, shout outs to Fingers Cross Racing. Shout outs to Amir. Shout outs to Big Boars MMA. Shout outs to Fiji Water. Shout outs to anybody else that I missed? Fitness Anonymous. Oh, shout out to you. What's up, man? I almost missed that comment right there. Shatty, Shine, Big Boars MMA. Who else here? Fresh Melon Juice, of course. Shout out to you. And who else? Afternoon. Shout out to Afternoon. Shout out to Watch Clown Show. Marty Miller, and Daniel Hamid. Shout outs to you guys. And with that in mind, I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to sign off right here. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you again. Inshallah.